Hey folks, we are back. And this is our second discussion, and this discussion is one of the most popular topics right now in the news, and this is regarding legalizing marijuana. And we're back again here with Travis and Lisa to shed their light and their opinions on the subject. You'll find Lisa's actually pretty liberal in her thought process, and Travis will share his as well. So, Lisa, why don't you tell us what you think and how you feel about legalizing marijuana?
Well, as I started to mention earlier, you know, I don't feel very strongly about marijuana being a drug that is terribly detrimental. You know, it doesn't really cause your judgment or your thinking to be that off. I don't smoke marijuana personally, but I mean, I know of people who do, and they say that it's a natural type of drug that helps to lift the mood. You know, and I guess in a way it could be used the same way that Prozac is used. Some people use it for medicinal reasons, to treat cancer and all other types of pains, and I know doctors prescribe it. So in terms of marijuana being illegal, I see it as a drug that seems to, the illegality of it affects, say, the street corner sellers more so than the people at the top who are the ones in control of allowing it to come into the country and for it to be distributed wherever, you know, it's going to be sold. And the people at the top who are making most of the money are the ones who are not receiving the punishment, so to speak.
That's pretty interesting. There's two pieces that you touched on. I think you know we can talk about it a little further. I want to get Travis in here, but one, you talked about the economic impact of, you know, allowing this to become a legalized drug, and then two, you know, are there any concerns about, you know, as you brought up the point where it can be used as medicinal purposes, but then legalizing it brings it to allow it to have other variations and synthetic forms of it. That's not saying it doesn't exist right now, but it'll no longer be that. Let's assume that it's just a natural high. It may not be a natural high anymore. You know, there'll be other lace derivatives of it that can be a lot more dangerous and detrimental. So I just wanted to get your opinion on it, Travis. What do you think about what's been said so far?
I think it should be legalized, but regulated. You know, and I think it should be highly regulated, the same way that, you know, alcohol is regulated. When during the Prohibition period, when alcohol was illegal, the country had the highest incidence of alcoholism. So I mean, it shows that, you know, as soon as you make something illegal, there's sort of an outlaw element to it that's gonna, you know, arouse curiosity.
But now putting those regulations in effect, will that then make it a, you know, is there still an ability for it to spawn off other forms of illegal practices associated with now this regulated drug? I mean,
No.
that doesn't necessarily make it.
I think, I mean, we don't see, you know, I mean, I don't know of a big market for bootleg liquor. You know, I mean,
Well, you know,
alcohol's legal, and you know it's regulated, and there's not, as far as I know, there's not a market for underground.
alcohol is legal, and I think of the incidents of, say, drunk driving and the accidents that are caused from it and the fatalities that are caused daily from overconsumption of this legal product. And again, I don't recall any incidences where a person was, say, high on marijuana and, you know, got into a motor vehicle and, say, killed somebody from that, as they did with alcohol.
Okay.
So,
But we still may want to regulate it to where, you know, you can't smoke and drive. You know.
you can't what?
To where you can't smoke and drive. You
Oh,
that,
oh,
we may,
oh,
you know, if we're going to legalize it, we may want to regulate it as well, so that because in that you know, in that, because some people may smoke an exorbitant amount to where they may not be in a position to drive, as opposed to somebody who did a little bit amount. So there should be some way of towing the line.
And I think that it becomes very dangerous also when it is illegal, because then open it up for people to tamper, I guess, with the product.
Mhm.
You know, there's no real consistency in terms of a certain standard, and I think that becomes detrimental in itself when you have it illegal and people are allowed to kind of pack it and pass it out the way that they see fit.
Now, what about the violent impact, the violence impact of it? By legalizing it, does it become, does the activity associated with the proliferation of that drug, that violence, does that rate, you feel it'll go down as a result of it?
I mean, definitely, and more so in the case of, I guess, the harder drugs. There's not a whole lot of violence, as far as I'm aware, that's associated with the selling of marijuana. But with the other drugs, with cocaine in its various forms, heroin, there's a greater incidence of violence associated with that. And that's another issue, but if those drugs were legalized, then again, that eliminates this underground market and all of the behaviors that go along with trying to, secure, street corners for illegal distribution.
There's been a lot of publicity in the news about the violence on the borders of Mexico now with drugs coming into America.
Okay.
What drugs? Is it marijuana?
Marijuana is one of them, I believe.
Oh.
Well, it's mostly, isn't it mostly cocaine and heroin?
Probably, yes, probably.
Oh,
cocaine.
okay, so it's not so much marijuana.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which one it is, but
Oh.
I'm sure the drug itself is an illegal one, and usually, there's violence and criminal activity associated with it. So, but yeah, there's been an uptick in the rate of violence over in Mexico as a result of it. So, that's pretty interesting.